You know, have you ever stopped to think about what beauty really is? We always hear that phrase, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Absolutely. It's totally subjective.
Yeah, completely. But then, don't you sometimes notice certain looks, certain features that just seem popular? Well, everywhere, across different times, different places.
Definitely. It does make you wonder if there's something more to it, like a universal element, maybe.
Exactly. And can science actually give us any answers here? It's such an old question.
It is. And that's what we're getting into today.
Right. We're doing a deep dive into this whole fascinating discussion. It actually started for us with a Reddit thread called Are Beauty Standards Universal? What cultural anthropologists and psychologists have to say on the matter.
A great starting point.
For sure. But we're going much broader. We've pulled in research on, well, the globalization of the beauty industry, which is massive, and also some deeper thinking on the philosophy of cultural diversity.
Yeah, connecting those dots is really revealing.
So our mission today is pretty clear. Let's unpack the evidence. Is beauty universal or isn't it? How have things like history and global business shaped what we find attractive?
And what does it all mean for how we see beauty in, our super diverse world today?
Exactly. Expect some surprising things, maybe a few aha moments along the way.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's kick things off with what most people kind of assume, right? This sort of folk wisdom that beauty and ugliness too are just objective. They just are, not based on where you live or when, maybe even written in our genes somehow.
Well, yeah, that's the common idea, but
Yeah.
let's challenge that straight away. Dr. Dennis O'Neill, a cultural anthropologist, flat out states concepts of beauty are not universal.
Not universal.
He says these ideals, they really change over time, and they're shaped by what he calls ethnocentric values.
Ethnocentric values, meaning what exactly?
Basically, values specific to your own culture. So preferences for certain eye shapes or sizes or colors, or even being tall or having a square jaw. Those aren't universal favorites at all.
Ah, right. They're specific to particular groups or cultures.
Precisely. They're not hardwired.
Okay, that really flicks the script, doesn't it? So we're not just talking about fashion trends that come and go.
No, it's deeper than that.
It sounds like it goes to the core of how we as humans actually perceive the world around us.
Exactly, and the psychology backs this up. Professor Wayne Whiten, he wrote Psychology, Themes and Variations. He points out that our experience of the world is highly subjective. Even something as basic as perception, seeing, hearing, it's not a passive process.
Not passive.
No. He says we actively process incoming stimulation, selectively focusing on some aspects, impose organization on the stimuli. Basically, our minds are constantly working to make sense of things, and that makes perception personalized and subjective.
Okay, so it's different from just sensation, like light hitting your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Sensation's more passive, maybe more genetic, but perception, that's active, cognitive, and it pulls heavily from our sociocultural background.
So things like thinking, I don't know, a tall man is good, or a thin jaw is bad, that might not be some universal truth.
It's much more likely to be culturally learned. Our environment shapes how we interpret what we sense.
Wow. Okay, can you give us a solid example? Like, how does our environment actually change something as fundamental as what we literally see?
Yeah, a really great example is color perception.
Color, how so?
Well, research shows pretty clearly that the way humans perceive color depends on linguistic codes.
On language? Really?
Yes. For instance, some languages use just one word for both blue and green. And get this, speakers of those languages actually have more trouble making quick discriminations between blue and green colors than English-speaking subjects do.
No way. So the word you have influences how you see the color itself?
It seems so. It supports this idea called the linguistic relativity hypothesis. Language can shape even fundamental perception. And it affects how we think about shapes and motion too, not just color.
That's genuinely mind-blowing. So if even distinguishing basic colors isn't purely genetic, how does that impact the whole argument for genetically hardwired beauty standards? It really makes you question those common counter-arguments, doesn't it?
Like the one about babies.
Exactly. The idea that babies spend more time looking at pictures of faces that adults rated as attractive, people use that all the time as proof, right?
They do. Proof of some objective, maybe innate sense of beauty. And they often pair it with the idea that looking at beautiful faces activates brain reward systems and feels good.
Yeah, that pleasure response.
Right. It sounds convincing. But when you really dig into studies like that Infant Preference 1 from Slater and colleagues back in '98, Well, some big problems pop up.
Like what?
Methodologically, for starters. Often they use tiny numbers of infants, like sometimes just 7 girls and 9 boys.
That doesn't sound like enough to say something is universal.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's statistically really weak. And often, a bunch of infants wouldn't even finish the experiment, they'd drop out, which can seriously skew the results.
Okay. Biased results.
And another thing, they often use black and white photos. That strips out so much real-world information, color, movement, three-dimensionality.
Yeah, faces aren't static black and white images.
Exactly. But there's an even more fundamental issue, according to our source material.
It is?
Comparing infant psychology directly to adult psychology. The source argues it's a logical fallacy. It says, acculturated adult psychology is qualitatively different from infant behavior.
Meaning babies just think differently?
Pretty much. Their basic biological programs are severely limited, and culture quickly takes over. Think about how long human babies are dependent in the neoteny.
Right, they mature slowly.
It's not just physical growth. It's crucial time for culture to shape us, especially how we learn complex visual processing, like analyzing faces. So taking what a baby does and stretching it to explain adult attraction, the source says that's just not scientifically justified.
That's a really strong critique. I mean, you can see why the baby argument is popular. It feels intuitive.
Oh, totally. Same with symmetry.
Right, let's talk about that. People often argue that symmetrical faces or signs of health, even certain smells, that these are universally attractive because they signal good genes for offspring. Evolutionary psychology stuff.
Yeah, those are common claims. But again, our source finds them lacking solid evidence. Take symmetry. The source calls symmetry fetishism, pure guesswork, conjecture unbacked by experimental molecular genetics or any other sort of solid evidence.
Wow, harsh.
Well, think about it this way. Carl Ratner points out, genetic changes take thousands of generations. Culture changes way, way faster. We haven't had major genetic shifts related to behavior in recent human history.
Okay.
Plus, almost everyone has a symmetrical face, more or less. So how can symmetry explain why some people are seen as much more attractive than others? It doesn't really add up as the main driver.
Makes sense. And what about health or fertility signals?
Same story, really. The source says there's no reliable scientific evidence that the attraction to healthy individuals is biodetermined. It basically calls those plausible evolutionary stories just that, stories. Pure conjecture, not proven science.
Okay. And the smell thing, avoiding relatives by scent.
That's likely down to the incest taboo, which is cultural, not genetic. The source even quotes Engels, noting that historically, incest wasn't always forbidden.
Really?
Yeah, suggesting the taboo was invented culturally. And crucially, there are no studies showing women are averse to the scent of close male relatives if they don't know they're related.
Ah, so the knowledge, the cultural context is key.
Exactly. So the big takeaway here is, just because something seems common, even universal across cultures, doesn't automatically mean it's natural or biological. The source emphasizes this. Universal and general are not synonymous with natural.
Right. Correlation isn't causation. We need actual experiments to prove a biological link.
Precisely. You can't just assume.
Now, it's important we mention, the source material itself dives into some broader debates here. There are critiques flying in both directions, some arguing biological determinism is pseudoscientific, others questioning the source writer's own potential biases, or bringing up the reproducibility crisis in psychology.
Which the source writer kind of dismisses as a red herring for the specific studies being discussed.
Right. So just to be clear for everyone listening, we're laying out these different perspectives from the source, not taking a side ourselves, just presenting the arguments.
Absolutely. Impartial reporting of the material.
Okay, so we've kind of picked apart the idea of innate, universal beauty based on perception or biology. But what about the huge impact of outside forces, history, economics, the beauty industry itself?
Yes, now we zoom out. Because these forces have had a massive, massive shaping effect. The modern beauty industry is enormous, $330 billion globally. And there's that documented beauty premium for attractive people. It all has deep historical roots.
So where did it start?
Well, initially, beauty products were mostly local crafts. Darwin himself, back in 1871, said point blank, there's no universal standard of beauty for the human body.
Okay, so local tastes dominated.
For a while. But then came the first wave of globalization in the 19th century. Western companies, think Peaver, Guerlain, Lever Brothers, P&G, Pond's, Helena Rubinstein, L'Oreal, started expanding everywhere.
And they took their ideas of beauty with them.
Exactly. They often believed beauty was universal. But paradoxically, their ads promoted very specific Western ideas. An 1897 soap ad talked about virtues upheld by beautiful women everywhere, but the image was clearly Western.
So this expansion started to standardize things.
Massively. It drove a worldwide homogenization of beauty ideals. Western looks became the global benchmark. Paris and New York became these symbolic beauty capitals.
And this had some pretty dark sides, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A really stark one. Beauty also came to mean white.
How so?
Western soap brands literally linked cleanliness with whiteness. They used racist stereotypes, claiming their products would civilize people in colonies by whitening the skin of people of color.
Wow. That's explicit.
Disgustingly so. Some brands, even Greek ones, advertised products claiming they could turn even a Negro white. It's just blatant racism embedded in commerce.
That's deeply unsettling. And we saw this reflected in policy too, right? Like in Japan?
Yes, exactly. Japan's Meiji government banned traditional practices, tooth blackening, eyebrow shaving, men using cosmetics, pushing for more Western styles to seem modern.
And Hollywood amplified this globally.
Hugely. Hollywood stars became global icons of this Western ideal. Although crucially, there was a strict color line. African Americans and Asians were excluded from these portrayals of beauty on screen for a long time.
So this Western-centric view persisted even through things like the World Wars.
It did. International consumer culture survived, and then after 1945, television exploded. That just amplified Hollywood's reach even further. And you had the rise of international beauty pageants. Miss World in '51, Miss Universe in '52. They were broadcast everywhere and consistently favored paler skins and wider eyes. This created that sort of Miss Universe standard of beauty.
But surely it wasn't a total takeover. Cultures around the world didn't just roll over, did they?
No, definitely not. It was more like homogenization constrained. For pure business reasons, companies had to adapt locally.
Practicality won out sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Corporate ads were powerful, but they bumped up against inherited cultural and social norms, which proved very resilient.
Can you give examples of that adaptation?
Sure. Coty, the fragrance company, realized cosmetics were bigger than perfume in the US. Lancome had this wild idea, a different scent for women on each continent.
Wow, that's acknowledging diversity.
Totally. Big brands like Pond's, Nivea, Lux started using local celebrities in places like China and India, not just Hollywood stars, and there were just persistent regional differences. France used tons of fragrance. East Asia, not so much.
Yeah.
Different preferences for makeup versus skincare across Europe and Japan. Even basic stuff like access to piped water affected toiletries use. And sometimes, even with a global brand name like Lux soap, the actual product formula varied using local palm oil in Thailand instead of tallow, for instance.
And marketing messages had to change too.
Oh yeah. Trying to sell Pepsodent in Kenya ran into issues with local ideas about fluoride, or even just translating a concept like success into Swahili. Local context mattered.
So that first wave pushed a Western ideal, sometimes with ugly racist undertones, but local cultures were surprisingly tough.
Very resilient.
Okay, fast forward to now, the second global economy, starting around the 80s. What's happening with beauty standards in this era of intense globalization?
Well, it's kind of paradoxical. On one hand, globalization went into overdrive. Mega brands like L'Oreal and P&G became dominant. Celebrity culture kept pushing those aspirational New York, Paris ideals globally, so certain looks like wide eyes, paler skin, and thin bodies for women did spread further.
Okay, more homogenization then.
Yes, BUT, and this is a big but. This era has also seen a strong revival in interest in local traditions and practices.
Pushback. Why?
Several reasons. Big social movements, civil rights, decolonization challenged those old assumptions of Western superiority. This paved the way for multi-ethnic beauty ideals. Think of the U.S. shift from melting pot to mosaic.
Right, celebrating diversity.
Exactly. Plus, the economic rise of places like China and India boosted the status and visibility of non-Western cultures. Bollywood, ethnic food, Indian fashion. It fostered a new confidence that Asians or Africans are just as beautiful as anyone else.
So non-Western ideals gained ground.
Definitely. You see it in the resurgence of traditional preferences for very pale skins in Asia, with Asian brands like Shiseido leading, but Western companies jumping in too.
Selling whitening creams in Asia.
Right. But interestingly, Unilever globalized a non-Western brand, Fair & Lovely, a skin whitener from India, now sold across Asia, Africa, the Middle East, despite lots of controversy about its marketing, linking fairness to marriage or jobs.
And local companies are rising too.
Big time. You've got Chorus from Greece with natural products, Natural from Brazil using Amazon stuff with a social mission, Shanghai Jawa in China reviving traditional medicine and style. And these aren't just local anymore, they have global ambitions.
So it's not just Western companies dictating things now.
Not at all. The key thing is, globalization is also enabling alternative visions of beauty to be offered to consumers worldwide, by local firms and by Western firms trying to offer more choice. Plus, the internet and social media give consumers way more power. Corporations can't just dictate like they used to.
That's a huge shift, but is there still a hangover from that first wave?
Yes. The source notes a significant one. Cosmetic surgery. Especially in East Asia, the high demand for procedures like double eyelid or nose surgery, often explicitly designed to make people look more Western, is a clear legacy. It's why South Korea has the highest cosmetic surgery rates globally.
Wow, so it's a really mixed picture: homogenization, resilience, revival.
Incredibly complex.
This whole journey, from perception to global markets, it really makes you think differently about beauty. It also seems to raise bigger questions, doesn't it? About how cultures interact, about diversity itself.
It absolutely does. It leads us to think about the aesthetics of cultural diversity. There's this fascinating concept in the source called the principle of aesthetic mutual enhancement.
Okay, what's that?
The core idea is simple but profound. Since beauty can only enhance beauty and not diminish it, the beauties of different cultures, when properly harnessed and integrated, should only result in a mega beauty.
Mega beauty, so different beauties combining make something even better.
Exactly. The source uses analogies. 2 matches make more fire, 2 light bulbs more light, decent people make each other more decent. When beauty encounters beauty, the result can only be more beauty and enhanced beauty.
That's a lovely idea, but what if it seems like beauty diminishes when cultures mix?
The argument is, that's not the fault of the beauty itself. It's usually down to prejudices, mindsets, and other negative dispositions, basically. Negative attitudes one culture holds against another.
So it's our baggage getting in the way. How do we get past that baggage then to unlock this mega beauty?
This is where the source brings in a philosophy of interculturality. It's about genuine openness. Not just tolerating difference, but actively trying to understand things from the other's perspective.
Like stepping into their shoes?
Kind of. Thinkers like Gadamer talked about interpretation and understanding from another's viewpoint. Merleau-Ponty had this idea of reversibility, the self opening up to the other, closing that mental gap. It connects to an old Greek idea too, unity and diversity. Beauty isn't just uniformity, it's the interplay of order and complexity. It's the mix, the variety within the whole that's beautiful.
So it's about finding connection without erasing differences.
Precisely. It's mediating between us and them without saying one is better. Keeping your identity, but being open to mediation, otherwise you become isolated.
That sounds like it applies way beyond just beauty, like basic human interaction conflict.
Really? Is there a real-world example of this kind of openness creating something beautiful, even in terrible circumstances?
Yes, the source gives a really moving one. The World War I Christmas truce.
Ah, yes.
Remember, on Christmas Eve, the shelling and the fighting stopped. A quiet descended. English soldiers heard Germans singing Stille Nacht. They sang back Silent Night. Enemies met in no man's land.
A moment of shared humanity.
Exactly, a perfect example of that reciprocal openness and reversal of perspectives.
Wow.
So ultimately, the source issues this kind of clarion call to universal cultural review.
Really?
That all cultures need to look inward, review their traditions, discard things that hinder integration, but hold on to core human values. It's about constant evolution through interaction.
A call for self-reflection and openness.
So after all that, what's the takeaway for you listening right now? We've gone from, how our brain sees things, to global economics, to deep philosophy.
I think the core message is clear. Beauty standards aren't fixed. They're not purely biological. They're incredibly dynamic, tangled up with culture, history, money, all of it.
And while global forces did push for a certain sameness, there's now this really powerful resurgence of local, diverse ideas of beauty. It's not a one-way street anymore.
And importantly, you have more power in this. The era of giant corporations just telling everyone what's beautiful.
It's
weakened, right?
Definitely. Consumers are more knowledgeable, more confident. You are shaping what beauty means today.
So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with.
Well, if it's true, as the source suggests, that no culture is perfect, it needs others to complement and enrich it. And maybe the real goal isn't finding one single universal beauty standard, Maybe true beauty lies in celebrating all the different ways humans express and perceive it. What kind of amazing mega beauty could we create if we really leaned into genuine intercultural connection, embracing that whole messy, evolving tapestry of human aesthetics?